Welcome, everybody, to Sunday Night Ask Us Anything after we just had the great escape from the Upper Peninsula.
Yes, we just finished our annual winter camp out in the snow-covered 16 inches on the level ground yesterday, and they're supposed to get about that much snow between today and tomorrow up there. I woke up this morning and we were going to plan a nice quickie, take our time coming back. It's about 350 miles or so from our house. And at about 5:45, I looked, I got a little beep from the weather service. Winter storm warning, lake effect snow, up to a foot supposedly coming down today, and more tomorrow with another fresh accumulations of 15 inches, zero visibility, hypothermia, wind chill of 20 below, dangerous drive. You know how they can make that sound thing. So, Jen, get up, we're out of here. And we did. So we took off. The big worry, Michigan has got the Upper Peninsula up here, and we were right about there, I think. Yeah, right about there. Tequamanon Falls. And separating the two is the 5-mile long Mackinac Bridge. That's really the only way we could have gotten home, except, you could go around through Wisconsin and down by Chicago, whatever. Insane. And they regularly close that if there are really high winds. And they had a high wind warning, and we kept the speed down. And I think I've been looking at our group, our special group for the camp out, and it looks like everybody got away.
I was going to say, we have driven it when it has been worse. It didn't appear to be
it wasn't bad.
that bad as a passenger.
But the UP just never disappoints. And winter is one of our favorites. This is our 10th campground, camp out there for the two of us. And then then we started inviting people because we had so much fun 10 years ago. And now it has grown. We had a couple people with COVID quarantines and a couple of breakdowns. And I think we had, 20 something. And, but it was just great campfires, dog sled
somebody
races.
Lost the power in their home.
Oh, somebody lost power in their home.
There's always things that happen at the last minute.
But,
and you give it your best shot.
So we did this week's podcast. It'll go out Wednesday. We did the whole podcast on location from the camp out, because every week we get all these questions, and we saved a bunch of the winter camp out questions. People ask us about using your RV or camping in the wintertime, and we'll answer those. And we just had a lot of fun doing it. So,
and I got to say, we got there Thursday night, and Friday. I have never been there when it was that cold.
Yeah.
When you were doing the podcast, it was so cold outside. I'm not used to that. I'm not from Minnesota.
Yeah, it was very cold. And it was 71 in the RV. In fact, it was so hot, we kept turning down the heat. We had the furnace set at 55, and it was still really warm.
Yeah, bullets of snow.
When we left you last week, Jen had COVID. So you want to give them an update on COVID and all that stuff?
I got tested, and I seem to be COVID free according to the tests. And hopefully I haven't overdone. You have to take it easy.
Yeah. So you didn't go hiking.
I didn't do near the things I wanted to do. In fact, I was worried that I did too much on Friday, because Whitefish Point, I couldn't resist that.
Whitefish Point is right off where the Edmund Fitzgerald sunk.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of our favorite beaches, windswept. Hey, we're giving you way too much. You weren't there. This
care.
is like, come over to my house and look at my slides. We won't bug you with that. This is Ask Us Anything, and we're talking about the RV lifestyle, and your questions are all appreciated. First, we want to appreciate our question wranglers over on YouTube. Chris Cowley is there. Chris, thank you for being there. And on Facebook, it's Phyllis Cara. And Phyllis may jump in if we forget a couple things. Quick announcement. Those of you who get the newsletter, be sure and check tomorrow. We've got some important announcements. One about maybe planning some unique trips in the next year. We want you to look at that. And then one more week to go on our sweepstakes, where we're giving away a Waggle temperature monitor, so you can know how the temperature is in the RV from your smartphone. If you leave your pet in there, make sure the air conditioner is still working. And also a Waggle camera, 2 separate prizes. We'll announce the winners of those next week. And you enter that at rvlifestyle.com/sweepstakes. rvlifestyle.com/sweepstakes. There it is on your screen. All right. Are we ready?
Ready.
All right. Here comes some of your questions and your comments.
Got to move that camera a little better.
First one is from Bradley Olson. So if we're looking off on screen, that's where we can see the questions. So
if a guy was fairly nimble like you and I, would you say it would be fairly easy to change oil on your LTV Ford Transit chassis?
Oh, yeah, I do it all the time. No, me. Well, I'm not very nimble, so, but I appreciate your humor. You know, I think if you're used to changing oil, it's probably fine. It's a Ford engine after all. You know, you just got to get underneath it. Maybe how you change oil, you drive it up on a couple of blocks. I'm sure you can. It's a Ford engine and it shouldn't be hard. But I find it much easier just to go to my little quick oil change, which I'm going to do this week. And I get to sit in the RV and check my email, and in 2 minutes it's changed. So, or whatever it takes, not long. But yes, I'm sure you can. It's a Ford engine, very simple. So good luck. Let me know how it goes, Bradley. And then come on over and do mine. Linda Ward, who got a new Linda. RV not long ago.
My husband and I took the new RV out for a day trip this weekend. Oh my, we had so much fun. Is that ever encouraging to hear that, Linda?
And Linda, that's a way to use it. Just get out and get used to it. Have fun with it. Go sit in it in the driveway. When is your first big trip? When are you going someplace to camp? We can't wait to hear how it goes. But you know, I think a lot of them are like us. Sometimes we will, if we're not going anywhere for a week or two, we'll go out there and just sit in it. In the summertime, I've been known to go out there and take naps in it. I've gone out there to go and work, use it as my office.
That's just the way to do it, to take a day trip. You know, take some food and get used to working, you know, your burners, and get used to the refrigerator, and just get used to everything.
Now, you can do this on Class B and Class Cs because they're fairly small. Sometimes when Jen's running a lot of errands, I'll drive her to do the errands, and I'll just hang out in the RV with Bo. Mm-hmm. Bo will bark at whatever comes around. Yeah. It works good. So good for you, Linda. Thanks for sharing that. And our friend Ed Richards, Ed's one of our supporters from Facebook here, and we appreciate that, Ed.
Greetings from wet South Louisiana. I am glad you guys are better. So instead of getting snow, it sounds like Ed's getting rain.
Yeah, it's been very, I don't know if my voice sounds like, does it sound like it to you?
You're a little hoarse.
I got hoarse. We did so much talking out there in the cold.
When was it? Thursday night?
Friday night.
Friday night?
Friday night we always have 2 dinners together at restaurants up there. And I always just do a hi, how are you? Kind of a greeting, and everybody introduced themselves. And I started to get hoarse then.
Overuse.
Yeah, well, I hope it's overuse. I hope it's not what you had. But I feel great. So, and I've been tested multiple times. I'm still negative. Eric Miller with a good question. They're all good questions, by the way. Yeah.
Okay. New Unity twin bed that we're enjoying. Wi-Fi extender. Not sure we understand what we have.
Oh yeah.
Thought it was an antenna, but we have to buy a plan at our AT&T. What exactly does a Winegard do?
Not much. It's not my favorite. Let me tell you that. We've had 2 of them now. You have the Winegard Connect 2. First of all, it is an antenna. That is your TV antenna. There will be 2 switches somewhere in your RV. One, you have to turn it on for the TV antenna to work. So if you've had trouble getting a TV signal, you know, you haven't turned it on. They're not marked in the Leisure Travel Vest. They're not marked very well. They're just 2 little buttons, and I always forget which one is the TV antenna and which one is the Wi-Fi booster. Notice I said Wi-Fi booster because the Winegard, besides being the TV antenna, and it does fine for that, it does 2 things. It boosts Wi-Fi signals. And that's handy if you're in a campground and you're using their Wi-Fi. You'll get a cleaner reception on it. It also, if you buy an AT&T plan or a Winegard proprietary plan, and put their SIM card in, which means you got to climb up on the roof and put it in. I think AT&T has one that's already in it, and they'll just activate it for you. But at any rate, that's going to cost you $100 a month or so. I don't know what their fees start. And I have found that the Winegard thing, it loses signals all the time. Every time you seemingly start it up in a different location, you got to go through this long, elaborate login procedure. They have an app. It's just cumbersome. I don't use it. It's that bad. I mean, really. And common Wi-Fi, if you can't stream on campground Wi-Fi, you can't, there's not much use for it other than maybe check the weather or website. So it is not my favorite thing. It's expensive, and I find it very cumbersome to operate, and I would not recommend it. It comes standard. I guess there is an option on the leisure travel van, so that's the nice part. The TV antenna works good though. Hope that answered you, Eric. Good luck with it. All right, Chris Colley. He's hoping everybody is having a great 2022. Yeah, it's crazy times out there. I got to say, it was really nice for the last 4 or 5 days though, not to have this constant bombardment on the world is coming to an end that you get in the news.
So you're telling me you didn't turn on the TV?
I didn't turn on the TV, and I didn't read all my news websites. I did a couple just to see.
Normally you check out. How many papers do you check out every morning?
Way too many.
Way too many.
Way too many. All right. Joanne Howard has a question. Now that you go ahead about our Wonder.
Now that you have had your Wonder for a while, how do you like the Ford chassis compared to the Mercedes chassis?
I have mixed feelings, Joanne. First, the chassis. I like the chassis, don't you? Mm-hmm. It drives really nice.
I love driving it.
It's very comfortable. I wish there was a little more room in the cab, like there is in the Mercedes Sprinter.
Bo stands up.
Yeah, Bo can't lay down there. He's a big enough dog, and he could in the Sprinter. He could lie down between the two seats. He stands the entire time we drive. We drove 5 hours today. The entire time he stands up right between us. For a lot of reasons. He's a bit neurotic about things falling on him in the RV. But generally, we like the chassis. I don't like Ford service. I live in, our Sticks and Bricks home in Michigan is in a large metropolitan area, the Detroit suburbs. There's 1 million Ford dealers. I've taken it to 2 dealers, and I've had bad experiences with both. One was for an oil change, and the guy, I called him. Oh yeah, we can do that. I brought it in. He said, it's too tall. And he got it in. But they did it. Barely. And he did it. But then he told me, don't come back.
That's fair.
Well, then they keep sending me, hey, it's time to get your service.
You're just in the system.
I'm in the system. The other one is a bigger company. It says, oh, yeah, they do RVs all the time. And it's a big Ford dealer. And I had my oil change there. I had some warranty work that was needed. I've called a couple, 3 times. This has been 8 months. It's on the backup camera that kind of goes in and out. No fixing there. They tried to tell me I needed new brakes at 8,000 miles, 10,000 miles. I did not, obviously, and I had them checked by another company. I called them 2 weeks ago. I really like Michelin tires. And I said, I'd like new Michelin tires. Can you get those? I'll call you back in half hour. And I still haven't been called back. So that never would have happened to me at my Mercedes dealers or at the people who did the service. So I'm a little burned on Ford service. I have found some other people that can do the oil changes much better and are quick and efficient. And I have a pretty good tire place now. But I had hoped that Ford service would be better on the motorhome part. Now that might be just me. But I suspect other people are finding that too.
And I'm sure
not all of them can service the Sprinter that's used as an RV.
And there's a shortage of workers.
Well,
labor.
That's true.
Qualified people.
But my other shops can get me in. So I don't know. James Massey. James is another one of our supporters, and we appreciate our YouTube members who support us and our Facebook supporters who help show their appreciation with us and give us some support. And James has a great question.
He has a great question.
He always has great questions.
Yep. Any advice about a towed? That means a car that you tow.
Yeah.
Our class,
towable.
a
Yeah,
towable. Our class, the C, is fairly nimble, but there's times when a separate vehicle would be nice, more convenient. Thoughts on a decision, cost, hardware? There are times when I would like to tow a car as well.
You know,
I'd say at least 50% of the time.
Yeah, and I think it's because because of the difficulty of getting into campgrounds, that our whole style of camping is changing. We're boondocking more. We're finding spots where we're staying a little longer. When you're just going to a place and you overnight in a Cracker Barrel or a Walmart, or you stay at a campground for a couple of nights, or you boondock a night or a harvest host, it's not so, you don't need that second car. But when you're staying in one place, like we're going to be doing now, we bought property in Tennessee, which we've been documenting. We were up shopping this weekend in the Upper Peninsula. We were shopping for land up there.
Yep, we were going to get some swamp land. No.
Well, no. That's a whole nother topic.
Right, so
but if I were doing a video on how to shop for land, so you'll have that coming up in a couple of weeks. But we stay in one spot a little longer. It really would be nice to have, so you wouldn't have to break camp all the time. Now, maybe we're just getting old and crotchety, but it'd be nice to leave the RV set up and go off and explore. So yes, we're thinking we can't tow one in the existing Wonder that we have because of the configuration of the Wonder. It doesn't have a big enough hitch, doesn't have big enough towing. So we'd love to go back to either the Sprinter or maybe even a larger Ford, but nothing bigger than a Class C.
if I can say, in our rig, we have so many cameras and batteries and all these things that are everywhere. So when we pick up and go, there's a lot of picking up that needs to be done.
Yep.
And whatever hasn't been picked up will fall on both.
Yep. And, so, I mean, I've always got batteries being charged and computers being charged and, videos rendering. And when you have to go someplace, I have to stop all of that and move it out. And so that's good. Now, cost. It costs a lot to get a good towing system. Blue Ox is probably the gold standard. Blue Ox is the gold, but it is. And I think it's like $4 or $5 grand to get a good towing system on there. Some of you who have invested that, you can share what it costs too. In fact, we would love to have you who tow, send us your advice and your thoughts about that. Our email address is Mike and Jen at rvlifestyle.com. Mike and Jen at rvlifestyle.com. That's our email. Maybe we'll do a whole podcast episode on this or a video on it as we wrestle. But James, like you, I think we're seeing the value. We have a vehicle that one of our own vehicles that we could tow with it. So that wouldn't have to buy another vehicle. Although I would love to talk you into let me get a Jeep. Because that's a whole new subset, another niche that we could get into is Jeepsters. Those people are crazy cool. I like Jeep people. Chuck Gunn. Hey, Chuck, we had dinner with Chuck last night, and Chuck was up at the winter campout. Chuck, I'm glad you made it back, or maybe you're still up there snowed in. But it was great to meet everybody. Linda Barcume.
Greetings from Jacksonville, Florida. Left Michigan on Friday and will be camping all over the state for the next 3 months. And that sounds fun.
Linda, we will be joining you this week. We're heading there. We're just trying to figure out now whether we leave Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, but we're heading down and we will be down there for several weeks for sure. We're first going down to the Tampa RV show, the Florida RV Super Show, which is opens a week from Wednesday to the public. And we will be doing a number of meetups there. The first one that we'll do is the one we've been telling everybody about is at 2 p.m. on Thursday, the 20th. And we'll meet in the pavilion. Some people call it the beer pavilion because they sell beer and soft drinks and food.
A bunch of picnic tables.
Yeah, it's covered
area.
Right at the south end of the lakes, right on the showgrounds. We'll be there 2 p.m. Eastern time on January 20th. But we'll also be stopping by the booths of some of our RV industry friends and sponsors like Battleborn Batteries will kind of hang out there a little bit. The folks at RV Life will be there, and we're going to stop by there for a while and say hi to folks. And you'll see us wandering around the show floor, the show grounds, I should say. Bo will be with us. We're camping on the grounds.
Oh, yeah, he's with us, not at the show.
He's with us. I'm going to take him out there.
You manage
I
him.
just hope he doesn't do
Well-
what he likes to do.
Well, Bo's a male dog. People have male dogs know they like to mark everything. You turn your back on, I mean, that's all the dog does. You can't walk 4 feet.
And he has been known.
Boy humor.
Okay. Well,
Once in a while, he marks a person.
yeah. So stay away from Bo a little
Yeah,
bit.
stay away from Bo.
Yeah. If he starts coming around you in circles, then anyway. But we'll have him a little bit. But we'll use that Waggle pet monitor we have, and he'll be in the RV some of the time too. While we're out. We're not too far from where we'll be.
Too hot for him because he was in his element this past weekend up in the snow.
Yeah, he is. Road Trek Sage.
I own a Road Trek 170 and would love to have the option using it during the winter. At least the shower option.
No, you're not going to
No.
use the shower option.
No, it's no.
We answer this question probably 3 or 4 times a week about people saying, well, what do you do with water? But I'll just give you the short version, and you can look at our YouTube channel. We have a million different videos, and our blog, rvlifestyle.com. We've written about it so much over 10 years. You don't use water when you winterize. You have all the water out of your plumbing system. So you're not going to use your shower. You bring your own drinking water with you, your own water to brush your teeth with. Yes, you can use your toilet, even though you've winterized that and have antifreeze through the system. You always have a couple of RV antifreeze jugs in the bathroom. And to be a little delicate, but whatever you put in the bowl, you have to put that much antifreeze in to flush.
And I made a terrible mistake today. I had a big bottle of water, and
Oh,
I
I gotta
think
go
there
take
was
care of
one cup left, and I put it inside the opening with the sink because I couldn't find the top. I should have looked for the top or put it in the front in a holder because it went over and at least a cup of water went down our kitchen sink.
But there's so many other things about winter camping, and that's why we did the podcast this week from there, because we went to all the other winter campers that we were with, and we had everybody give a one or two tips about winter camping. So if you really want to do it, watch that podcast that'll be out on Wednesday. It's coming to you on location from Michigan's Upper Peninsula.
I'm telling you all this because I think it's going to be like 17 degrees
When?
today, tomorrow,
Okay.
night.
So
we have a
I just have to put a
situation.
little
We
antifreeze
have a
in.
situation.
Tim Kaplinger.
Best finance company for a Class A 2003 Sun Cruiser.
Whoever will give you the best interest rate, Tim, I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't
Credit
recommend.
unions, who knows?
Yeah, I'd go to a credit union first, somebody that knows you
Sorry
and
that we
your
can't help
your
you with
stuff,
that.
but I can't help you. And there's so many different options. I would, if you're buying from a dealer and they say, oh, you can go with our credit people, get their price, but then go check it with a credit union
get
or
it.
a bank
There's
or
two more.
somebody. Yep. Robert Hoke.
Have you heard of anything like an assisted living RV facility for us 80 plus RVers who want to go down in our RV?
No, I would
That's a
probably
good
do
idea.
I'd probably do a story on it if there were any. I have not heard of that. I know several 80 plus. I had dinner last night with an 82-year-old guy who is a winter camper. He's out there all alone winter camping. He has a brand new leisure travel van on order that won't be done until 2023. He's leaving. He left this morning, the Upper Peninsula, and he's going to go pick up his wife. And then they're going down to Arizona someplace, Payson, Arizona, I think he said. So, and I know another one that I think he's out in California right now. There's a lot of areas that are just out driving. Now, if your health and stuff is a situation, that's where maybe that would work. I don't know. I don't know. I think that would present a lot of challenges to the facility or the place that was having assisted living. But
Boy, it would probably be very expensive because you would set your unit up. It would be there. You get your rate for staying there, however long you want to stay there. And then you would have to find somebody to come in and help you with whatever you needed help with.
Yeah. Brenda Allison.
Have you had the Truma
Combi? Yeah.
in any of your RVs?
No, you can't because you don't have any water in the plumbing system. So the plumbing has been winterized. You do not use the Truma that you've winterized your Truma as well by removing all the water out. Yes, it is instant heat, but you have to get that water through the plumbing system of the RV, and that is the pipes of which will freeze and break if you don't get all that water out and run antifreeze through them. We have the Truma Aqua Pro, which is arguably, I think, the finest water heater for an RV anywhere. It's on many different RVs. Instant hot water is awesome, but not in the wintertime, not when it's winterized.
Need a little hot water, just microwave it.
Yeah, microwave it or, heat it up on the stove. Ann Weber.
Do you think I can be confident in a 1995 Chevy Falcon 190 with only 68,000 miles? I love it, but wonder if I should spend money for its upkeep.
That's an old RV. That is a 17-year-old RV. How
about 95? That's 5, and then 20, 25,
26,
17 maybe 27.
Years. 17.
Oh, 25.
This is 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a 17-year-old RV. Yes, 68,000 is great, but by all means, you should, if you're going to buy it, you want to make sure it is in good shape. So find an RV inspector, Ann, and get it inspected. That will give you an idea what needs to be done, what doesn't work. If you're brand new to RVing, you need somebody who is your advocate who can go through and make sure that you know every single component that you rely on when you're RVing, that it works. So spend a few $100s, have somebody check it. And if you can't afford that, to have somebody check it, you probably shouldn't buy it. I don't mean to sound cruel here, but I've heard so many horror stories of people who bought, they look good and they just take off without knowing anything about it. So upkeep is just like a house.
Well, I think kind of just like just a normal car, it might not have many miles on it, but has it been sitting out in the sun, not been driven enough, the hoses and everything dry out?
Yeah. And
I don't know. You have to have an inspector.
And parts, all those different accessories from the air conditioner, have squirrels gotten in and eaten any of the wires in there? That happens even on new RVs.
Right.
So, Ann, have somebody check it out for you really carefully and make sure you know what you're getting. Make sure everything from this retractable steps, does that work? Has somebody lubricated and maintained that? Just have it checked and upkeep it. Robert Birch.
Hi, neighbors. How far along have you gotten on your Linden, Tennessee campsite? Last I saw was the driveway.
Yes,
good.
We have a great driveway, but alas, I can't get return phone calls from anybody about doing the rest of the work.
Well, it's been the holidays.
It's not the holidays. It's the 9th of January. The holidays are almost 2 weeks ago. I'm waiting to hear what the schedule is. Next, we have septic. And I think that's probably the next thing they'll put in. They have to take a few more trees out, which is good. We have too many trees. And
somebody even mentioned maybe getting a lumber company to see if they could take them out so we don't waste them.
Yeah, that's an idea too. Some people do that. And then we're making 2 more sites for RVers, 2 like flat areas for them to park. But we've had no progress since we did that video 6 weeks ago. None. And I've called and texted and emailed and I've gotten no response. So
they'll get to you. There's no rush.
It's like everything else, it's hard. It's hard to get workers and there's so many people sick right now. What did I read? I read a headline today. There's something like 5 million people are supposed to be sick next week out of not working. So I'll let you know when we do more stuff. And the next story we'll do is when we get something done. But nothing's scheduled yet. I'm hoping to get some information, but can only call and wait. Babu Creighton with a question.
We will be traveling through Canada this summer up to Alaska. Do you still remember Peace of Mind?
Recommend.
Insurance?
Yes. Those guys are great. We are members. We have it. It really does give you peace of mind. It's a company that what a lot of people don't realize is that if you have to be airlifted somewhere out and you've already been driven to a hospital in an ambulance, like maybe a regional hospital they got to zap you there because you were in a smaller hospital. They can't handle it, so they call an air ambulance. So many times those charges, which are like $50,000 minimum, are denied. And this is a company that'll handle all of it, not just for RVing, but everything. I like the guy, Tim Gustafson, who is behind it. It's Peace of Mind for RVs.com. Tim used to be a sponsor. He's not a sponsor anymore, but I speak very highly of him. I think they're listed on our partners page at rvlifestyle.com. Good guy. He also does Medicare insurance as well. Stephen Loy. Hi, Stephen. Nice to see you on with us tonight.
I live in Savannah, and I haven't found any boondocking areas here in the East, especially compared to the West. Any suggestions?
They're few and they're far behind, Stephen. And people get mad at me because I'm not listing a lot. Well, they're not a lot. Usually state forests and national forests. If you have any of those in there, make sure that they have dispersed camping areas. Many of them do. Some of them don't, particularly in the East. We just published a book last week on that is like kind of this master list of resources of where you can find free boondocking spots or very inexpensive places where you can stay. And that's one of the things that we'll suggest to you too. And you can find that on our books page but I think it's called The Ultimate Guide to Free and Cheap RV Sites. And I don't mean to be shilling from my book, but there's a gazillion places. Even on a website, you can find lots of resources. Just go to rvlifestyle.com. But not a lot in the East, particularly, as you say, compared to the West, because it's just more crowded over there, harder to find those places. Porter. Okay.
All right.
Greeting. Question greeting.
A question greeting.
From Tipperary. Yeah.
Love your podcast. How often do you eat out in restaurants when traveling? We are trying not to eat out in restaurants. It's too much salt and prepared ahead of time and microwaved. It's so hard to find good, fresh food when you're out there.
Now, we just ate out at our winter camp out. There's a couple of restaurants that we like up. One in Paradise, Michigan. That's the name of the city. It really is. This is amazing. Right on Lake Superior. And there's the place called the Gastro Pub there, which is just fantastic food. And then we ate at a place called Camp 333, which is right at the upper falls of Tequamanon Falls State Park. And that's kind of a tradition where we all just go in and
that's
eat.
what we do.
But normally now we try and not eat out.
Try not to eat out.
Because it's too much salt, too much fat.
Too big of portions.
Yep. And, and all that's good occasionally, but I struggle every day with it. Now, my wife doesn't, but I struggle.
I struggle with the salt. And the caffeine.
Yeah. Ed Richards.
I subscribe to the RV Trip Wizard thanks to you guys and just love it. Awesome trip planning tool.
It is. It's a great tool. It's a bit complicated, for you just don't plug it in and start using it, but it's because it's got so many different ways you can use it. It's a very handy tool to use. It's on our partners page at the website, but it's great. Denise Hayden.
We went from a fifth wheel to a travel trailer, and what a difference. 38 feet, Grand Design Reflection, 2022.
So I'm not sure what.
Went from a fifth wheel to a travel trip.
So did you go up or down? Did you have a 38 now, or was it a 38?
What a difference.
I think the Grand Design is a towable trailer. I don't think it's a fifth wheel. So
maybe
I
towing?
think I would assume that you went down in size from the 38-foot fifth wheel to the Grand Design Reflection, but I'm not sure.
And it sounds like you're happy with the Grand Design Reflection.
Yeah,
that's good.
Maybe I don't know how long
it's easier to pull the travel trailer than to control the fifth wheel, I think is what we're saying here.
It's just probably bigger, and it's probably easier to find places to stay.
I just can't even imagine a truck and
because if it's 38
fifth wheel trying to pull off the road.
So you're over 50 feet,
Give us time. We'll be there.
Why not? We haven't tried it yet. That's the one thing we haven't ever tried. We haven't ever tried a Class A, a fifth wheel. Ann Weber.
Let's wait till the gas gets more expensive.
Oh, yeah.
I just went down from Maine to Florida. Harvest Host has some, but not a whole lot. stayed at a great brewery in Virginia.
Yeah. Like the East, Florida is so much in demand. So there's not a lot of boondocking spots in Florida. There are some, but not nearly as many as you would like. But glad you found some places. Nancy Measy.
We live in New Jersey and join Boondockers Welcome. They have places in the East to boondock.
Yeah, I didn't mention them, and I should have, because Boondockers Welcome, which is now part of Harvest Host, those are individual people who open up, like we're going to have our campsite in Tennessee if we ever get that fixed, and one hopefully in Michigan, and we'll let people stay there. So these are individual people who let you stay on their property. And I think I like the fact that they're kind of vetted, so that when you go there, you're not staying at an axe murderer's house and vice versa. They're not renting to people on the run with the police next on their trail. So, and it's nice. You get to meet the people, and most of the people who let you camp on their land or their driveway, they're delighted to have you, and they can certainly direct you to cool things to see that you'd never find in a guidebook. Boondockers Welcome is a great organization. We really think a lot of it. P&A van life.
Can you describe the process you go through to plan, script, shoot, and edit your videos? Thanks, from Niagara Falls, Canada.
Plan. It starts with an idea. I guess we'll just you always tell me I shouldn't tell them what we're going to do, because with 400,000 other influencers out there, they'll all try and do it.
You can tell them something that you've done in the past.
Okay. So what I usually do is I start with the plan that I want to do a story about this. I should give them an example.
Can you talk about this weekend?
Yeah. Okay. I guess I can do it. So this is our video that I'm going to do. It's our podcast, and we decided we'd do it all online. That's not a good example.
No, it's not, because that's just a podcast.
The planning is just an idea. And oftentimes for us, we're on the way to someplace. Here's a case example. I've got a video coming up on Big Bone Lick State Park in Kentucky. Great little spot. We knew we'd stayed there once before, years and years ago, and we wanted to go back and really adequately explore it. For one thing, we're kind of junkies about Lewis and Clark. They both visited that park, and is a pretty significant site for anthropology. And we knew there was a lot to see. So my only plan was to get there. I got there. We quickly got an idea what the land looked like and what we wanted to see. We took one camera and B-rolled it, shot all the things that we were interested in, and then went back and we did the transitions explaining what we saw. And all that's done. I do not script them out. I just kind of lay it off. If we have to do narration, I'll do that as I'm editing. Editing is the big thing. Editing is just, it's about 2 full days, maybe 2.5 to edit a typical 12 to 15 minute video. There's lots more than that, but that's not why people are here watching us, but it's a process. Ed Richards again. Hey, Ed.
With regards to finding campsites, check out Country Parish Campgrounds. I am staying at one this coming weekend while photographing birds along the Gulf Coast for $12 a night.
County, somebody told me last night at dinner with our RVers about, we don't talk enough about county, parish, in the case of Ed in Louisiana, even city campgrounds. These are little golden gems that are all across the country.
Can be. Yeah.
They don't do a lot of promotion. You might not even find it. If you're going through an area, look at the Chamber of Commerce website, and they usually have something about camping. And hey, we have our own county thing. That's great. And I like what else, how the RV lifestyle complements other hobbies. Ed's going to shoot birds with his camera, not a gun. And he's going to use his RV to have a RV getaway and indulge in a hobby. And he's also a big e-biker, so I'm sure he's bringing his e-bike. Loda.
Would you buy leisure travel vans again?
Absolutely. I sure would. I wish I could get another leisure travel van, Unity FX. And we've been kind of talking about getting one and for a long time with them, but I haven't done an official order. And I don't know what the status of it is. Maybe we did put an order in.
I was going to say, I thought you did.
Well, I kind of did, but I haven't. We haven't gotten
You
anything
didn't get
formal.
it in writing.
And we
I thought it was
kind
about a
of.
year ago, sir.
People think that we kind of go to the head of the list as quote influencers, but we don't. In their case, we probably go at the back of the list because they're not exhibiting it at the RV show in Tampa because they are concentrating on filling the orders that they have for their customers. So I really appreciate that integrity that they have. We would very much buy. They are just a great unit. Bob Leach.
Have you ever visited Fort Pickens?
Fort Pickens is it's a Corps of Engineers park, and it's in Pensacola, Florida. Yes, we have. Corps of Engineers, also good spots. If you can find them, they're always on water because the Corps of Engineers is doing it. Hard. We have found, like everything else, very hard to get in to any of them over the last few years. Very, very hard to get in because they're so popular because they're on water. Sharon Engel Rose.
I hope you do decide to do a podcast on towables. I'm looking for information to see what is the best way, if possible, to tow my SUV behind my Thor Vegas. Glad you had a great time in the UP.
Sharon, we will look for some folks at the Tampa RV show and try and get some expert advice, and then we'll put together what we're learning about it, and we will either do a podcast or a standalone video on that. And now I say this, and there's where you watch all these smaller influence channels out there, all going to go do this now. So you can watch theirs. They'll have it. I shouldn't be telling you what we're going to do because I forget how competitive they are now. Mike Mullins. Oh,
Mike sees a Tennessee hat in the background. That was given to us as a gift.
Yes, I was talking about how much I like Tennessee, and I love the people. I love the culture. And one of our listeners, who is from Tennessee, said, "You're about ready to wear the big T," and I said, "I am." And he sent me this, and I will wear it with pride. And that's it's back in the background.
Mike loves hats.
I do like
just
hats.
love hats.
Yep.
And you're so excited about owning land in Tennessee.
Well, it's a great state.
It
really is. Except, you can tell them why you don't what you don't like about our land.
Snakes.
Yeah,
probably bugs.
Well, I don't like bugs everywhere.
I know bugs are everywhere, but there's
rattlesnakes and
bugs.
copperheads, and she's just worried about our baby Bo and running around, and we just have to be careful. That's all. Anyway. But we love Tennessee, and we love the Power T, as I think they call it. Pee Wee H, we're down to the last three questions here.
And this question: are you finding campsites, boondockers? No.
BLM, U.S. Forest Service.
Yeah.
You got to know all these acronyms.
I know the acronyms.
Everybody's got an acronym.
Other people don't out there, though.
Yep.
And RV parks in short supply.
Yeah, everybody sees BLM and they say, "What does Black Lives Matter have with camping?" Well, it's Bureau of Land Management is what BLM stands for there. We forget how many newbies we are, and we love newbies. You guys keep us in business with all your questions, and we love it. We love the excitement that you bring to the whole thing. Listen, they are in short supply. There's just no getting around it. I did our last podcast was, as we call it, straight talk about camping in 2022. And that's what we talked about, is how hard it is to find a place to go camp without, on a popular weekend, without reservations made long in advance. So yes, that's why one of the reasons we bought land. So we always have a place to go. That's why we're shopping for land in Michigan, and we want a place to go. And
we can see a future where people somehow figure out how to trade spots with other RVers.
Yes, Jennifer mentioned that. Since then, we've heard from a number of other people, and we're actually looking to see if we can start something where those who have land can, have kind of a swap system for other people who have land. And the neatest thing is I heard from a company, I'm not going to give you any more information except it's a group of individual landowners who want to set up a network, and they're going to start with I-75 from Mackinac City in Michigan down to Florida, right off, not too far off the interstate, where for a fee, you get a fob that would open a gate and you can boondock. They have water and a dump station. and you can stay as long as you want. Now they're trying to put this together, so I'm not going to publicize it yet. But if this
They're
happens,
working on it.
I
It's a
mentioned
vision.
that to show you that there's a lot of innovation out there about trying to get around this problem, and there'll always be a place to camp. But it is a bit frustrating if you just are thinking about nothing but traditional campgrounds, because it's very hard to get in. All right, 2 more questions and we'll get there. There's a great resource right there. The book that we just put out last week, rvlifestyle.com/free camping, huge lists of resources where you can find free and cheap places to camp. And I got to tell you about this travel survey. We've been approached by a company that puts together really neat, I want to say high-end experiences for camping and other tours. And so we're not sure how this would all work out with our supporters, but it's worth exploring, because if there's enough interest, we'll do one, we'll host one. But we want to run it through you guys first. Now, when you go to that thing, that's just a free survey. You'll see all these sites, these vacations all over the world. Yeah, pick one. We'll go on that too. But you have to scroll down to get North America, and they have some really neat services available. And fill that out, and we will be able to if we get enough people that are interested in, say, Yosemite or Glacier or a trip to Alaska or whatever it is that's out there that you'd like us to host. We'll see what we can put together. They have professional guides that handle everything, and most of the meals are included, and they just are. It's a high-end travel group, and they approached us and said, "Hey, just see if people are interested. If they are, we'll put something together." So there's a survey to do. And sweepstakes, we're giving away that camera, the Waggle camera, and also the Waggle pet monitor. We'll announce the winners a week from tonight. All right. I wonder if
Looks like you're going to get another hat.
Hey, look at that. Bobby and Vicky say we're going to send you a Vanderbilt cap, Vanderbilt University, Nashville, Tennessee. I like that. And Deborah Fieldson reminds everybody to like this video, and please do so. Send us a thumbs up on it if you liked it. If you didn't like it, then I'm sorry. Go away. Then don't say anything. Please help us, and subscribe if you can. Go subscribe to us. So. All right, now you got me all excited about Tennessee. I just wish I could get some of those other projects done. That's all we got this week for everybody. We hope that you have all enjoyed our time together wherever you are. I hope you're making great plans to get out there.
I got to say, I really like seeing you wear a hat that's not black or blue. I like the orange.
Yeah, you like my Big Power tee, though?
Yes, I do. I like the orange colored hat.
All right. Don't forget the podcast this week. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's the first time we have done one, and let us know what you think of that. We did the whole podcast on location from our winter camp out.
Freezing.
Well,
what was it about? 2 degrees?
I think it was like 7 degrees the day we did the open, when we shot the open.
When we shot the open, it was cold.
It was very cold. Yeah. But it was fun, wasn't it?
It was fun.
And at one point we had to go back in the RV and get warm up. But anyway, it's a lot of fun. And wherever you are, make some plans. If you're going to be at Tampa, we're taking off this week. We'll be doing this show from the road somewhere next Sunday. And then the following week at the RV Super Show in beautiful Tampa, Florida. All right, that's it. We'll see you down the road.
Happy trails.